Hey, this is an episode of In the Truck with Josh, and if you're listening on the podcast, your DIY ally. So I do a lot of driving because I live south of everything mostly, so I do a lot of thinking while I'm driving. One thing I think about is why people shouldn't choose the cheapest contractor. A lot of times when we're doing an estimate, we're going to be bidding against other companies, and price is a huge deal to people, so they will look through their bids, and some people will hire the cheapest person that you can find, and that's not always the best. And I know people have talked about it. I'm sure everybody has their opinion, but I try my darndest to be a legitimate company, to pay my insurance, all my insurances, have my license, do quality work, keep everybody happy so I can keep work coming in, keep my name good, my reputation good, and keep things flowing. I'm trying to grow a legitimate company, so I'm not always going to be the cheapest person, and it's not always best to hire the cheapest person. Some of the things that can happen if you're looking at hiring somebody like that, I mean, you want to do your homework. You want to find out who these people are that you're having in your home. You want to talk to them. You want to check references. And if they give you any hard times about any of that stuff, just don't deal with them. But say you found some people, you got some bids, you feel like you're happy with them, you look at that cheapest one, you hire that cheapest person. Not saying this can happen all the time, but there are times, many times, when that cheapest person isn't going to be the best because they might not be around forever. If they don't know how to run a business, their business could fold up at any time. And I think that's a struggle for a lot of people. So that's one thing that can happen. Another thing, you want somebody that is going to be there 3, 4, 5 years down the road to call if you have something going on, if you have questions, or if maybe you want to do more work. You want to have a relationship like that, somebody that you can count on and call. I hear all these stories about people having bad experiences. There's a lot of them out there, and there are bad contractors out there, but one thing that comes to mind, I know a younger couple, they wanted to do a pretty large remodeling project, and they knew that we were busy, and they ended up hiring somebody who they got the name from a friend. They thought the company was a solid company, good company. They signed an agreement with this person, started on their remodel, and shortly after starting, they kind of started questioning their decision on hiring this person. They gave him a bunch of money down, and he delivered somewhat. He did some work and stuff, but he constantly missed deadlines. He wasn't ordering material because he didn't have the money that they had given him. So then he would make excuses as to why the material wasn't there. And there's just a number of things that he was doing that was kind of raising their curiosity as to why, and they started checking in, and he would say that he has this flooring ordered. Well, they would go to the place where he said he had it ordered, and they would try to check on the order themselves. Well, he never even ordered it because he didn't have the money, and then he was making excuses that it was back ordered, and it was this, and it was that. It was terrible. So they struggled through most of this project. Another thing this person did, or this company, they didn't pay all the subcontractors, so they weren't coming back to finish their jobs. So this couple ended up paying these subcontractors directly, trying to just get their project done. It made the whole thing just a terrible experience. Remodeling is supposed to be fun. You're supposed to be turning your house into something you want. And yes, there is dust, there are hiccups here and there, but overall it's supposed to be a good, fun experience. You're supposed to look back and say, that was amazing. We turned our house into this house of our dreams, or this amazing space. So you want to have somebody reliable, somebody that has been in the business, somebody that has references that will gladly give them out. Somebody that's just genuine and will help you along the way. It's not just the cheapest guy that wants to slam things in and get as much money out of you as possible and get out. Those people are not always the best, and they don't always care. We are, I would say, a fair priced value company. We try our darndest to do everything right, to be a legitimate business, to stand behind our work, and to leave everyone with a positive experience, and most of all, leave our name in good standing so we can grow our company and keep working. I know one thing that kind of irks me sometimes is people will tell me that they want to do something and they will just ask me how much it is. Well, I know people want rough estimates, but I try to be as accurate as possible, and these estimates take me a lot of time, especially when they're a bigger size remodel. I mean, this can take hours and hours and hours and weeks to put all this stuff together. And some people will just throw you a price basically in a day or two with no details. And many times they haven't thought this project through. They haven't kind of ran through the whole thing in their mind as to what they might find, what might be uncovered, what needs to be done, what the process is. Because there are so many things that go into a remodel or a new home, and that's what can add to these prices. Every little thing that you need for supplies and all the labor and just the odds and ends things that have to happen, they all can add up. And if somebody gives you a cheap price, maybe they haven't thought that through, and I've seen it many times or heard of it through customers I work with. They hired somebody that was cheap. They did get the job done, but at the end they came and said, hey, we didn't account for this, we didn't have this, we didn't think of this. Now granted, there are times when you run into things or uncover things that are unknown, and you have to add to the price for them. But I take my time and try to think these things through and eliminate as much of that as possible. So watch out for those people that'll throw you a price on a napkin without any detail, because they probably haven't thought this through. This has been an episode of In the Truck with Josh, your DIY ally, and you can comment below if you want to hear more of my random rambling. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later.